Hits and Crits. This video is brought to you by Asmodee.
So, good evening everybody to our cozy little Night's Watch office hour at the start of Season 6. I'm here today with my good teammate Levin aka Wompis. Hello Levin.
Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, and I put up that little presentation there for you to give you an overview what we will talk about today. Just gotta keep it quick and dirty, looking at the Season 6 changes. We won't take too long for that. Because, there are so many sources where you can look at them. So we'll look at this quite shortly, and then we'll talk about the implications for list building. The changes, especially with the 4 points extra we get now for attachments. Yeah, what that basically means for Night's Watch list building. And then we'll just, at the end, look at some list ideas for Season 6, what maybe could be good, what could be meta. It's hard to say at the start of a season because it depends a lot on what other people bring. But we'll just discuss that. And as every time with our office hours, Levin mainly, but I will try too. We will have a look at the chat, and if you want to add something, if you have a cool list idea or something to share, just get in touch via the chat or even get on the podium. We can pull you up here if you like to say something. Okie dokie. So let's get started with the changes to Season 6. Let me check if you can see that. Yeah, you should be able to. And there we have, for the start, we will start with the attachments, and there we have Benjen Stark, the 1 point attachment, who got a change, and the change is to ambush, and it's basically a change to the ability overall in the game. It now gives a vulnerable token as well when you charge into the flank or rear. Levin, what do you think about that? About the change
I think
to
it's
ambush?
pretty good for people like the Ranger Vanguards, which lack the keyword, so the vulnerable is nice for them to make extra damage when they get in the flank, I guess.
I think especially for the Night's Watch Ranger troops who all we have no chance to get a keyword, right? Maybe Vicious with some commanders, but no Sundering, and so vulnerable is exactly what we need. And the attachment is really juicy, I think. Sentinel is really nice if you want to play more infantry based. Definitely something to think about. But for me it's a bit hard to get him into the lists I built. But still a really nice attachment, I think.
For sure.
And then the next one is Sam. The attachment, it got reduced from 2 to 1 points. And still the same abilities, battle plan and bookkeeping. You wouldn't take him for 2 points without the extra attachment points in the Season 5 version. But now, Levin, what do you think? Definitely interesting, right?
Yeah, I played him quite a lot and tried him out, and I think he's really nice in some lists, so you can get your key cards right away, like Watcher and stuff. Which can be pretty or good. Also against maybe we see more Boltons and you get you can't get panicked and +1 morale card out. So I think for some lists it's very good to tech him in.
Yeah, definitely. And there are not so many key cards in the Night's Watch deck, but the commander cards are oftentimes very nice, so that might be a consideration too, to get them out early. And you will find 2 cards that you can discard to get the one you really need. Maybe interesting for Cotta as well, I think for many commanders actually. Interesting.
And with bookkeeping, you also have more variants, so you get your
Yeah.
cards quickly, so which is also very nice. So it's a good combination for discarding and looking for your cards.
Yeah, so that's definitely an interesting one. So let's see what we have next. We have Edison Tollett. So what do we think about Edison?
um, yeah, you start.
Yeah, I mean, his ability changed, right? Before it was when you were -1 rank on your unit, then you got the first ability, and when you are on the last rank, you got both. Now you only have to lose a rank, and then you get an order token on him, and you can heal it back, obviously, but you still keep the ability. And the ability actually is really nice. You may never be targeted by orders tactics cards or be influenced by NCUs. And then on top, if you lost another rank somewhere, you gain +1 to hit, but only on melee, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure. The ability actually is nice, I think, but still, I the lists I built up till now, I don't really add him because of yeah other things we will speak when we see the implications for list building.
Yeah, I agree. He is actually quite powerful, but in the other units you will play, you will need other attachments first. So I think he will not see that much play, or I haven't found a list where to put him in. Yeah, because you can play Jon Snow, but as Thomas pointed out, we will come to the lists later. The one thing would put him in is in the conscript, so maybe
Yeah, but I
I
think
would.
that's actually a meme.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
see
I know,
why,
but
but
I haven't tried it yet. But I will at some point,
yeah, I
just for
think
fun.
it's more he still is more for themed lists or stuff like that. If you want to go very infantry heavy, then you could maybe play him. But Knightswatch has such good cavalry that yeah, not sure if you want to do that. But yeah, we'll see later. And
I
hmm?
The one thing I only wanted to point maybe in the future if he will have or the Night's Watch can put him in like with no limits of attachments, like
Yeah,
some other factions like Saturn.
but
Then I think he will see play.
maybe he's too powerful for that, right? Not sure.
He would be very powerful or too powerful, but well, we have Blood Riders for 1 point, right? So,
Yeah, sure.
but
That's the other extreme.
but we will see what they will do.
And then lastly, for the attachments, we have the changed commander attachment of Dennis Mallister. And here they changed Nightly Vow, so that's same as Ambush. It's just a general change to the ability. And before it was when you control the sword, your unit melee attacks gain +1 to it. And now it's while your opponent does not control sword, so that's a bit stronger than before. But
Yep.
the commander stays the same. I mean, I actually think he's not that bad. He can be really annoying with the token control he can bring. But
Yeah, I agree.
I think what would push him into a playable area would be if the Tempered by Duty couldn't be lost through a panic test. Because that
Yeah,
can really
maybe.
suck.
Yeah, maybe they should do it like the one card from your Mormont,
Yeah.
which you can't lose either. Maybe it's still okay to have like one card you can't lose.
Or at least
That
if
would be
it's
nice.
the one that's on his unit, right? At least this one
Yeah,
shouldn't
maybe
get
like
lost.
Commanderish. Yeah, correct.
Because he
Totally
kind
agree.
of needs it to make his attachment kind of viable. And if you lose it early, then yeah, just every other commander would have been a better pick probably. But he is actually not that bad as people think he is. But he's not a lot of people play him, right? Maybe now
Yeah,
some more.
yeah, because he's also very powerful as an
Sorry
NCU.
guys,
So
I catch a little cold, so if I'm coughing a little bit, you gotta bear with it, I guess. Maybe on the invitational, I'm not sure. Everybody is is sick who came from there. Super spreader event. Okay, let's see what we have else with the changes here for the Night's Watch for season 6. Where's my presentation thing here? Yeah, we have the change to the Vanguard, but it's a change to Ambush as well, right? We basically talked about that. And as Levin already said, it's like because you never get Sundering on them, the vulnerable is really nice with a flank charge, and then yeah, they can be quite devastating.
Yeah, with the Quarren 8 attack dice, juicy.
Yeah, and I mean it already was a very strong unit, so a little buff like that doesn't hurt at all. We take it, I guess.
We take what we can, right?
Yeah, I mean what makes them really strong is the high movement ability and that you still have 5
Yep.
dice on the second rank. And now they get a little bit more punch for your flank attack, so that gets you just get an advantage a little more out of that if you make the flank charge. So yeah, just nice. And the last 2 changes for the Night's Watch are 1 NCU change to Yoren. He now is 5 points. And I still wouldn't play him. I'm not sure. My experience when I didn't see him often because for 6 points obviously nobody played him really. My experience with playing against Yoren was that sometime in round 3 or 4 the conscripts get on the table and you basically get a free victory point because you 2-hit them or something like that. And not really worth in my mind, even for 5, not maybe for 4. I would use him in certain lists, but for 5 still, nope, not for me.
I think he needs like an influence as well, because otherwise you lose so much because you have to replace them. Then, of course, it could be powerful because you eager someone to take the crown, but still. I also think it's not worth it because the conscripts die so fast. Maybe when they buff the conscripts again, and they put away the disorganized, or here there are some tweaks. Maybe then he will see more play, but for now also, I would rather play other NCUs right now.
The problem really are maybe the conscripts because they are just not worth the 5 points anyway. So,
Yep.
Why would I give up a better NCU and wait 3 rounds to get a unit that is kind of bad, right? And the disorganized is a big problem. For 5 points, they were originally 4, right? And with disorganized, then that's fine. But now you basically need something, some attachment in them or so. Maybe if you would bring them with a watch recruiter or something like that, that would be interesting. But yeah.
Or with AKA toilet.
But I mean that wouldn't really fit, right?
Yeah, I know. It was just a small joke.
Yeah. So I mean, sure. If you, I could imagine like really skewy lists with a lot of healing and maybe with Geo Commander and stuff like that. But on the other hand, do you really need the extra conscripts then, or do you just take Tycho on top or stuff like that if you just want to go for a heal and sustain? I'm not sure. And then another idea would be to have a very offensive list and just pressure the enemy very early and then gain the conscripts in round 3 to heal your troops back up that are in the offensive. But yeah, still not sure if that works. Not for me.
I think we have to, or someone has to play him a lot to make like a good foundation.
Yeah.
How he should work. As we all know, we need to play more games to test something.
Definitely, yeah.
I've played him once. It didn't work as well as I wanted to. Yeah, that's what I can say. But I want to try him again. Give him some shots. I have to see.
I mean,
then we have to.
it will be fun to try them out, definitely. So
For
the
sure.
last change we have is the assault orders, and that's the change to assault orders overall. So you only have lowest attack die value. So that's definitely a nerf for Kotta. Not a really big nerf, I think, because what you really need the assault orders early, at least, is to just get into melee, get the free charge, right? So I think it's still okay, but it definitely nerfs the Kotta in Thorn Brothers even more. I didn't like it
Yeah.
anyways, but now I would definitely play Kotta
Veterans.
in Veterans, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then you still have the 5 dice and not only 4. 4
Yeah,
dice
4
is-
dice is too low.
Yeah. They should buff Thorn Brothers, I think, to 765 attack profile.
I mean, I can say that because I have great access with very low attack type profiles. And I would say, yeah. With Swan Brothers, it's not good enough with like the veterans with Quarren. Maybe you get 6 attack die out of which is quite good then already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in general this is a nerf, but I think it's okay because you can with the other Kodak Pie card you can press
Still-
out enough damage maybe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, the veterans have more attacks as well, right? For the pike.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Correct.
Okie doke.
Correct.
Yeah, so far the changes, and then let's see what that's all implicates for list building. But I mean, the bigger change here is the 4 extra points for attachments, with the implications for list building. So because now we have John for 2 points and bringing Ghost, and we have the watch captain obviously, and now these attachments definitely become more interesting, right, and more viable. And another implication is that you need minimum 1 infantry unit to make full use of the attachment points. So the full cavalry unit, the full cavalry list will only go to 43 points now. If you
Yep.
still want to play it, yeah.
Yeah, I think because only really Samuel Talley and maybe Yorin are like the major point reductions, which you maybe would have played before, or Yorin wasn't played at all. So I think here and there this may be something to consider, but in the rest, the 4 points for the most other faction as well is the key element
Yeah.
for the patch.
So, and to note there, we only have 1 attachment, or it's 2, right? Saturn in its 2 forms that we can put as a second attachment in a unit. So we
Yeah,
will
only
probably see a lot of Saturn too. A lot of
Yep.
lists. Yeah, and I mean, with John and Ghost, we now have the possibility to make quite good 8 activation lists with every commander. Before that, it was mainly only John who could make good 8 activation lists, at least with 3 real NCUs. And now we can do that with basically every commander, which is quite interesting. But then you obviously always need John, right, and Ghost. I mean, you could probably build other 8 activation lists too, but then because our 5-point units, I mean, we only have 1, right, and it's conscript and it's bad. So those other 8 activation lists are probably not super interesting. But with the Ghost, and
You
the
forgot your scorpions.
yeah, maybe with Scorpions some stuff, but even there, I don't really think that Scorpions are super good. And I played a lot of them during the last year, and it's casino and doesn't really work. So I'm going away from them now. In the last
Yeah, we will have to see
weeks.
in the long run which wins.
Sure.
The
But
8
I mean,
activations or the 7, what I meant, because a lot of faction can spam the best 7-point unit and put the attachment in it, or you play like three and a half, 2.5 good units, and then a lot of wonky stuff. But you can have an activation more.
I mean,
Yeah, it
sure, I
depends.
think we will see a Scorpion here and there, but um, overall, I think they even got worse now because you will probably see more infantry and
Yeah,
less dragons, probably.
I think it depends on the faction. I think with the Blood Rider buff, you will see a lot of
Yeah,
riders there.
but still, they are so fast that normally they can go around your Scorpions.
Starks are depending on their cav as well still.
Yeah, but the skewed Stark lists just heal against your Scorpions too, or
Yeah,
are too maneuverable as well, in my
yeah,
mind. But yeah, we will see. I mean, maybe some double Scorpion lists will still be out there, but that's already hard then to get the 4 attachment points in.
yeah, totally. But what I meant in general is like in the long run, which is better, 7 or 8 activations now that we will see.
Yeah, I think you probably play 1-7, 1-8.
Yeah, most likely.
I mean, what's now possible is the 7-7-7-7 list with 3 4-point NCUs,
Yeah,
which you can play very elite stuff. But oftentimes you maybe want the trackers because they are so good.
yeah, we love them. I agree.
Yeah,
Which makes
and
room for
yeah,
set
some
and
8
all like in a
activation lists.
5-point NCU. Um,
So let's just have a look at some lists now. I would say. Let me see. Let's just open stats. I already built some stuff. Um, Maybe just have a look first at some 7 activation lists. I built a 7 activation Kotta, where I think Sam is quite good now because you can obviously then get the assault orders
yeah,
when you
let's
need
have a
it.
look.
And yeah, the command here I put the commander steward in to have another unit to be able
We
to
don't see
charge.
it right now.
Oh, you can't see it? Oh, I have to. Yeah, give me
Uh,
a second.
yeah,
Yeah, I have to change this here. You should be able to see it in a second. Uh, yep. Now you're able to see
now,
it, right?
wonderful.
Yeah, cool. Okay, as we already said here, I put Koda into veterans because I think that's now a bit better than Thorn Brothers in my mind.
Yeah,
And the Vanguard with Cold Hands now is a good option. Cold Hands bringing the Sentinel and intimidating is cool as well on top.
hmm
Trackers, like I have probably 1 unit of trackers in every list. I'm not sure, but maybe, probably. And you now get the Watch Marshal attachment for free, which is really nice too. It's just so cool that you can use your vulnerable token defensively with it as well if you vulnerable early, and the enemy you can use the adaptive planning start of enemy turn too to make the vulnerable a weakened token, which is really neat. And you have the swift retreat, so they can be quite tanky. And yeah,
yeah, they're very annoying to deal with all the abilities, especially with Pathfinder and
yeah,
like the you're on stakes, then you retreat and stuff, which is very good. I think also the Watch Marshal is a very good attachment in the trackers right now.
yeah, definitely. I mean, and you take him anyways all the time. So
hmm
basically, yeah, they just got additional abilities now, right, for free. I mean,
Yeah,
here you could instead of Sam, you could take something else. Obviously, maybe a hardened
because you only
ranger.
cost 1 point. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe hardened
Oh.
ranger, and then the commander steward. I think the commander steward probably with Cotta, it's the only list where it makes really sense to use the commander steward. All the other time, you will probably use the dauntless
Or,
set
e-
in.
or even if you don't bring Jon Snow, but Too Reckless Heroism is also quite nice.
Yeah, sure. And then here I went for Corin, which we may see more often now. I'm not so
Yeah,
sure, but maybe. Because you probably often will use, if you go for 7 activations, it probably quite often will be 7-7-7-6. And then you have one 5-point slot for an NCU. And I think Corrin will be I mean, they didn't change him, but I think he will be more interesting now that you have those Death Star units running around everywhere. And to be able to just make them not being able to attack for a round, somewhere in the late game, that can maybe win you some games, I think. And before
Yeah.
that, you just try to dance around them. And yeah, for me, I always tend to go for the more cavalry heavy approach. You obviously
Mhm.
could play 2 defensive infantry units as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I played a lot of Spearmen with Watch Captain, which was
Yeah.
a lot of fun. Um, and they're like tanky as hell, and because of the really a lot of damage output coming in, um, because of the massive attacks. I mean, you don't have any keywords, but it's just the massive attacks you burn out. And with Sedalis Malister, you always have rerolls and a vulnerable token, so or most of the time,
Yeah,
which can
sure,
do a
with
lot of
Manister
damage.
attached, they are really nice.
Yeah,
Definitely. I mean, Spearmen are quite strong. Anyways, it depends a little bit maybe on the matchup as well, but
yeah, for sure.
their biggest
I,
problem is the damage output, which isn't super high because they have no keyword as well, but yeah.
but it's 8 attack dice now, right? With the Watch Captain, which
Yeah,
is a
with Watch
lot.
Captain, it's definitely
It's,
nobody wants to attack them, right? At least not if he can't take out their abilities.
I was in a. This is the only ability loop which exists, I think, in Song. I played against Renly Brienne, and he attacked me. So I attacked, and then I did set for charge, then he shoot, then I did relentless, then he shoot, then I did relentless, then he shoot. Yeah, that was quite funny.
Yeah,
Um,
right. That's both are always after, right?
no, the watch captain is a May, and but Brienne is a must. She has to shoot.
Ah, yeah. Okay, so you could stop the loop.
I
Yeah,
could
but I
stop the
think
loop.
Brienne being a must. I'm not sure if we have it in CFAQ, but yeah, I'm not so sure. At least I played a game where um, my opponent. I don't recall the situation exactly, but my opponent would have had to attack me too, and it would have been really bad for him. But then we said that he doesn't have to. It's probably just an oversight by Simon, right? I mean, on the other hand, lore-wise, it makes sense that she must.
Yeah, I think also, and
Yeah,
it's really really written. I mean, on the watch captain with the May,
yeah,
and
sure. I know. It's
yeah. So
the
I think
wording is
it's this.
different.
I think this is really intended, though. Yeah.
So
And
another
next
7 activation list
next list.
with
Let's go.
Ossel. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah,
came up with something like that. Again, here you see if you wanna. I mean, maybe if the list first, that's with Corrin too. Peter is a bit debatable, but I think
I
he's.
like Peter in this. I almost built it the same way. Funny,
Yeah,
almost. I swapped out the Shadow Tower Spearman and put in
Vanguard?
the
Or,
Vanguards with the Sentinel
yeah, sure.
as a
Yeah.
and then yeah, you never want to take the crossbowmen. Um,
Yeah, those
because
crossbowmen can be really strong, right? You can push them up to
to 9
9
attack die.
attacks on twos
Yeah,
with the Honed Enhancement, and that's why I went here with Sam too, to just make sure I get it when I need it.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's a bit unlucky that you can't. What you could do too if you don't want Sam. But I think he's really interesting with also to just get the Hound safe. You can one
Yeah,
shot
maybe, but
Varamir
I
and
don't
stuff
think.
like that too, right?
Yeah,
So,
maybe.
but if you could go senior builder too and then get here the Overwatch attachment, that would work as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
and this unit, I mean, if you charge them and they have Corrin attached and they are full ranked, then it's already 6 dice they shoot at you and they can shift. to make it a longer charge or get into short range with their shot.
Yeah, that's why I like the vanguards um with with Benjin. I wanted to say with cold hands because then after their attack you get another sentinel attack in the best case.
Yeah,
Um,
that's how I built the list first too, because that's
and
probably the strongest way to do it.
yeah, and then
Um,
you can't almost never can't attack the crossbowman.
but I
Yeah,
I wanted another way with Sam, and then I think
yeah, yeah,
probably the Spearman with Sam, then other way to go.
sure.
But I think the Vanguard option is stronger.
Yep.
And an
Another
Elisa
one.
list with 7 activations. So here, I mean, you could maybe debate stuff like that, but I think that one is strong too. It's the same NCUs again.
Yeah. But don't we have too many points in here?
No, Samuel is 2 points. That's why it says
Oh
45.
yeah, okay, it's 44.
He
Yeah, yeah,
should be
okay,
only 1.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, with Corin again, obviously you can do different stuff with the NCUs too, right? But if you go for that 7 activation approach, then you'll often have like the 5-point NCU slot. And so,
What do you mean, Torstein? Which card? Sorry.
sorry.
Oh. No, I have a question in the chat. I don't know which cards you
Scorpion
meant.
attachments, yeah, they are really a very special thing. So a Scorpion, they are not called Scorpion attachment. They are called Scorpion modification, and they are not with the 4 points here. In the last list, you mean the Ossel list? No. Like here's 1 point, 4 point, 3 points, 4 points, and here we have
And then
the 7, 7, 7, 6.
okay.
The 6 points for the Scorpion. Yeah, and the modifications, they are like, basically they are an extension of the unit card, if you want it like that. They are not an attachment, but they are not an attached card as well, because they work differently than attached cards, because they just give an ability to the Scorpion and make him more expensive, but this ability could be turned off, and an attached card cannot be turned off. So they are not attached cards and they are not attachments. They are their own thing basically. And yeah, I mean, back to the LSR thing here. I think the ranged unit is interesting with LSR too because of the what's it called, seeing their flaws. Yeah. Because when an enemy moves forward and then you can make him vulnerable and panicked and then maybe shoot him, that seems quite interesting. I mean, here again, instead of Sam, you could play something else, obviously.
But maybe you then want the Saturn in the melee
Maybe
unit, so
here
if you
again,
shoot
yeah.
there, so
Yeah, I
you
mean,
can
you
heal.
could play him here anyways, maybe. It depends a little bit. If you get into a shootout, the Dauntless and Iron Resolve is interesting on the Golden Company Crossbowman.
That's true.
But yeah. Probably
Was just
they
an
will
idea.
have to tank the most. Yeah, so do I have something else with 7 that could be interesting? Not really. Yeah, I mean, we could look at the Benjamin Stone Thrower list, maybe. I
Yeah,
think
do
that's
it.
the... Yeah,
Our meta list.
you could do it like this now. If you put Benjamin trackers, then you can play double trackers and the Stone Thrower and the Ranger Hunter unit, maybe, or something else. You could play a defensive unit too. But he has the card that is good for Rangers, right? The Hunters inside. So that's why I picked them. So that would be a way to still get the attachment points. If you stay with the old version, then basically
I like this way more,
it
the
would
old
be
version.
like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you have 2 points less.
It is what it is.
Yeah, not so sure about it.
I know,
Or
but I
you
think
have
this
to
is
go with 3 4 point NCUs, right, to get it, but that's still not good because you want also with the stone throw.
I think I played it 2 times already, and this was
I mean,
also when I play it with less points. The
yeah,
Watch
sure.
Marshal is amazing, and they're doing their job perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the same list as it was, but now it's two more watch
Yeah,
marshals.
correct.
And basically the same is true for the full cuff list, right? But this one you play with 43 points. Here you go with Varys. And then here you can't, no, let me see. Yeah, but it's possible still, right? You could do this. Because that 7, 8 is 15, yeah, 27 plus the NCUs. But then you
Yeah,
play with 42 points again. But yeah.
but it happens when you play full cuff. It is what it is. If you don't,
Yeah, I mean the list is
right.
still very strong. Now with all the
But
attachments in it, you can if you get the light and the Noise watches ended on the Ranger Vanguard, they are sitting there on moral 3, right? And every time they make a panic test, they heal one and dish one damage out. So that's quite
yeah,
cool.
yeah, or you can like Glory Seeker, or you play the Fortune Seeker. It's also good in them. And now
Yeah.
and then you have the rerolls and the Dauntless, which makes them also more tanky.
I mean, I built another Stone Thrower list, which yeah could be interesting too, but complicated. I mean, Martells now can just play like triple skirmishers or stuff like that, so that becomes really hard to
Yeah,
stand
guys,
there
prepare
in your
a
corner.
lot of fun.
Yeah,
Not.
yeah. I'm afraid a little bit too that we will see a lot of triple skirmisher Martell lists out there,
So,
which can
so
be. I mean, I played against it once now, and I don't know. They are everywhere, right? It's
sorry, I had to vomit. Yeah, I agree.
yeah. That's gonna be a problem. Yeah, and now maybe to some 8 activation lists.
Yes, go ahead.
Um, I think this one is really interesting with Benjamin Kev Commander.
Hmm.
Because
I
here
like this one. Yeah,
you can't
already.
take cold hands, so you take the mercs and you still have your 4 points used. Maybe
Yeah,
here you could use a defensive unit again as well if you like to, instead of the ranger hunters. But maybe not spearmen, right? With Jon Snow, maybe veterans. Not sure about it, but I think the list is really nice because with Sam you can get the important cards, which will be the right by attack and the hunter's insight, basically, and maybe a fire or stuff like that. But
mm,
with the shift from Varys and the shift from the hunter's insight, your ranger hunters can be so ultra mobile too, and really keep up. And you have now 8 activations and Ghost to threaten the double charge, right? With the
yeah.
hunters plus Ghost. Yeah, and right by
I
attack
mean,
is very strong.
as we all know, to have a defensive anchor in your list is always good. Um,
Yeah, sure. I mean, but lists like that work more via the mobility, so I think it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I totally
Something is
agree.
broken here.
But
What happened?
went to 44 points automatically.
Just load it in again. Yeah. I mean, what you could do, but I think it's not super strong because the solo watch marshal is a bit too weak. Where is he, anyways? Here.
I want to try him out
And
once.
I mean, he is interesting because he's cavalry and he can use the right by attack, right? And has movement 6, so that can be really nice. Um,
Yes.
you could then take Ossel, and then you have the Ossel Varys
Oh,
combo, which is cool as well. But
I
then no
built a list
bookkeeping.
where the yeah, I built a list where the where the spearmen have 10 attack dice then with him. um, but yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, but still no keyword. I'm not so sure.
But I mean, that is still Night's Watch. 8, 9, 10 attacks. You just die from the mass of attacks, right? That was season 3. You just got overwhelmed by the attacks. That was
Yeah, sure,
crazy.
but there you had like the extra attacks from the Now's what just ended,
Yeah,
which was like
I know.
the winning move.
But it just was like you never had like keywords. You just had like I have 9 dice.
So and then
I have
like
9 dice again.
to another like eight activation lists archetype maybe that we will see more often this season. I mean, you obviously can change out the units to different units, but you now basically with every commander can go for this style of 8 activation list. But you can't really use the Vanguard then, because then you won't use all of your attachment points. I mean, you could, but no, you can't. You need the second infantry unit for Ghost, so no Vanguard then for you. But that's quite interesting too. Maybe this with Spearman here is a bit better because then they have wishes, so they have their keyword.
I played a lot of Joe Mormon because I just like him.
Yeah,
And
sure, Gerard. You could just use this same list with other commanders. With Cotta, with Geor. It's all possible. Probably this.
and he was so tank. The lists are tanky as hell. It's like
Yeah.
with Watch Captain in is the. I played 7, so it was a bit different, but to get through all the spearmen and all the Vanguard veterans is tough.
Yeah, that's kind of like Baratheon's play then, right? That's because when I build lists like that, I mean, I try to incorporate a ranged unit.
Yeah, I always put in your favorite unit, and then
So I would probably play something like this then.
yeah,
But I
okay.
mean, on the other hand, John with Geor is quite interesting, right? So maybe
Yeah, with
8
the war
again.
cry you can hear. Yeah,
Yeah.
I played like 7, like 4 for with 3, 7, 1, 6, and then yeah.
So what do you think in the bigger picture? Like, I mean, you definitely now can do interesting things with Night's Watch, but the other factions can do interesting things too, right? So
Yeah,
what do you think overall? Still
I
feels
think
like an
all
uphill battle against a lot of
yeah,
enemies, right?
it will be. I think not that I know everything yet or like all the meta setup, but it feels like Night's Watch and, for example, also Starks will be more at the lower end and will have to fight some uphill battles because it is what it is. Some factions just from the as always, this game is about value of the points,
Yeah.
and some factions just got better stuff for it. Um, and that's part of the game, so we have to deal with it. Um, yeah, so I think for Night's Watch it will be still an uphill battle. I mean, you have the Stone Thrower, so
Yeah, but
there
I
will
think
be.
Stone Thrower overall got worse because people now generally have more Sentinel,
Think,
more healing stuff for
yeah,
their
yeah,
infantry.
I
And
agree. I agree. I think it's not like it's gotten better, but you still have like an option.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think you have to. I think like always, you have to be lucky in the long run and have to avoid some matchups you don't want to play,
Yeah, but
and
I
then you
think
have to
like the
turn.
list that I have on screen now here, like this archetype list, I think it is really versatile. You can
Yeah, yeah,
play a lot of stuff with a list like that because you have a little bit of everything, and the trackers are still really strong with the Donald token on top. Now with the Watch Marshal for free, and to have this 8 activation style list with a lot of you have the really mobile pieces with Cold Hands, Ghost, and the trackers, and you have
yeah,
really strong infantry units. And John's unit is very mobile as well, or kind of mobile because of the reckless heroism.
yeah.
So you have good sustain, you have good ability to take prolonged fights, and yeah. I mean, you need a little bit of luck, obviously.
As always.
Yeah, if you lose all your vows on a stacked unit, game can be kind of
Can be really
frustrating.
rough, yeah.
Yeah, but in the end, I think it's interesting patch for Night's Watch because mainly for me because of those 8 activation lists and 7 activation lists where you now always will have the ability to take Vanguard Cold Hands combo in the 7
Yeah.
activation lists, which is a really strong combo. And
Yeah, I just love the Spearman and the Watch Captain. I know it's not the best, but I just like to play it.
yeah, sure. I mean, we can. Sure, that's for 7 activation. It's really nice too. Definitely. If
Yeah.
you play a more
That's
defensive commander, then
Yeah, correct. And that's why I played Joe Mormon and stuff, but whatever you want to play, right? Or you can even play, as you said, you can play Alistair with the Vicious. Um, yeah. And I think it will be a lot of fun still, but I think for high competitive meta it will be quite rough, but for just fun games in normal, this will be a very nice patch for the Night's Watch, yeah.
yeah, I think. I mean, what you always can do is stuff like this, right? Where are they? This. Probably. I mean, as you like, maybe another unit of Spearman
Whatever you want to take, yeah.
and Vanguard. Like this
Yeah,
always is a good base for a list.
yeah, correct.
You have Kev, you have ranged, you have two very defensive units, and then you play a bit of the Beressian style game where you turtle for 2 objectives with the
Yep.
Golden Company in the back and the Vanguard with the Sentinel if someone gets close. Yeah.
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 And you can even get more points in if you don't play with a 5-point NCU. So, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you could always do something like this too, right? The 776
Yeah.
and then the 5-point NCU. Yeah. Okay, okie doke. Yeah,
Some
I
people
think.
have questions regards any marks or whatever.
Yeah, if anyone has questions, that's now the time to ask. Why can't I put this forward here?
I agree, Torstein, but also in the past to not have the ability for the opponent that the vows are there forever was just too good. The value over time was just too good. So maybe I don't think they will switch it back, but if they would do it, maybe you can just keep one card for the rest of the game. That would be maybe nice, and you could choose which one it is for the first card or stuff. But I mean, I've played against Rattleshirt, and I don't know if you know the card, but he has a card which gives +1 armor, and you can never expend vulnerable for the rest of the game. This card will never fall off, which is pretty damn strong. Um, yeah, and it felt very bad to play against it. I still won, but it was not nice. It was very rough.
Yeah, but I think only putting one card on every unit would be rough as well, because then
No, no, no. I mean,
no,
no. I
because
mean just
T
one for
is
the
now
rest
writing
of.
in the chat only putting one card on a unit max,
Ah, okay, yeah.
and the problem would be basically solved. But I think that would be too rough for Night's Watch
No, I
because
just meant.
you can't get the combos
Yeah.
then anymore from the cards, and yeah, no, you need more. I think what would be fine is if you fail a panic, you lose one, and Night's Watch player basically should be able to decide which one. But yeah, because the effects of the
Ah,
cards are not super heavy. They are good, but they are not so super strong. If you set only one card attached, only one wow, then I think the effects should be stronger. Then it would work.
yeah. For example, that would be also a good option, or maybe also the opponent could choose because I mean you failed the panic and the card which annoys him the most could
Sure,
fall off.
yeah,
But I mean,
I would be fine with that too.
I mean,
Yeah.
nevertheless, you don't lose all the cards at the same time, which will be good. Yeah, and I think Torstein, we will see Reddishot more often in the future. I think he's quite good.
Definitely. Yeah.
Um,
Very, very
his
interesting.
cards are, I think his cards are pretty good, and because every time you activate him, you can just pull out one of his cards and
Yeah,
attach
now
it.
you will be able
When
to
I
play
come.
the 5-point units as well.
Yeah, with all the and I played against it and it was like, yeah, my 10 warriors have 3+ armor and a 3+ morale, and you can never expend vulnerable. That was really hard to play against them.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, that was.
guys. I think then
Oh, we're
that
talking about Night's Watch.
I
Yeah.
think yeah, but I think we are through for today. I think that's it with the office hour then. We talked about all the changes. We gave you some insight into list building, what could be interesting maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, for anyone watching later on YouTube, I hope you had a good time, and for everyone watching us here right now as well, of course.
Yes. Hope you had
And
fun, and yeah,
yeah,
if
have a good season 6. Good luck to all of the Night's brothers out there. We'll probably need it from time to time. And yeah, see you around. Good evening.
bye bye.
Bye.
Come for the hits and stay for the crits.